Man, this is so exciting to see it all happening. So, wanted to run through everything with you guys. Alrighty, so this is what a site cut looks like. It has just started raining as I press record. How good is that? I'm at the back here. I'm walking along where we will have the back concrete slab for the single story duplex. As you see me move towards the front of the site, you're going to see that this cutout here, this cutout is going to be for the garages. Why it's a couple of steps down is we've got a sloping block, so we have to sort of find that slope in the design. The slab's up at this height because of some stuff with the tree at the back. I'll take you guys through that. We've got about a 500 mil drop, which will mean there'll be a little bit of a step between the garages and into the house. Not a huge issue. And as we come through onto the driveway and then into the back of the rear front double story townhouse, access to the garage is going to be the driveway around the back. So this is essentially the entry here to the garage. We then have the driveway that goes to the back here. And as we walk towards the front of the site, we've also got our cutout here. So this is where the al fresco is for that front unit. This is sort of the living room of that front unit. And then our building line stops just about there. But I wanted to sort of take you guys through in a little bit more detail and show you it fully so that you can have a look what a site cut is. So as promised, I wanted to do a video for every stage of the construction stage. And if you're new here, to probably give you my purpose and why I'm doing this is because when I used to want to get into property development and construction, before I started sort of working in it, one thing I never, ever saw online was there was no one really putting together video content around the learning stages, around sites, around construction. It's always the polished, finished video, which is great. But I thought, why not do a series where I can break up each individual section of that construction process, talk a little bit about it, give people a little bit of an understanding, those that want to get into development, that want to understand it a little bit more, what's required, what happens, and each of the steps sort of in that construction process. Cool way to sort of document it as well, to be able to look back in a couple of years' time for me personally. But yeah, we've got my latest development here, so if you haven't already, go back and watch the first couple of videos to know how we got here. But today we are reviewing and having a look at the site cut. Site cut essentially happens, so we've finished demolition. After demolition, we get the surveyor on site to do what's called a peg out. They will peg out the different heights that the side needs to be. We then will we'll do what's called a cut and fill. So if we need to bring in any fill, or we'll sort of we'll get excavators, cut and move the site around to the levels that the plans show that it needs to be. You know, sometimes if you've got a sloping site, that house at the front might need to be, cut into the land, or the ones at the back. If you've got a flat block, you probably won't care. You won't have too much of a cut. They'll get rid of the grass and the stuff on the top, and they might do a little bit of a cut there to prepare for the slab. But essentially, this is what this is, and we're trying to pour this slab before the end of December, so the pressure is on. The boys have done the cut. I'm going to run you guys through it a little bit, and we'll go from there. So essentially, what will happen is you can see here this little marker. This is what the survey comes and puts out. So when they do the peg out and they're doing the cut and fill and stuff, they know the size and where it lines up. After that, you'll see the little blue markings in the grass. And here is when they'll come and they'll cut out different parts of the site. So we have a garage, we have a driveway that goes up the side, and this is kind of like a flat landing for the front townhouse, right? After that, these big molds here, these big piles are here. These piles are from the grass. So the guys have come over with the excavator, cut it out. So we have this that we will need to get rid of, or the builder will need to get rid of. And then we have the sort of slab for the one at the back. A little bit happening here. You can see in the background, we've got the really large tree that we need to keep. We then have the base level for the duplexes. And then we have the garage, which is right here. And then this is sort of like the entry and the front sitting area to the duplexes. But the reason why I wanted to talk you guys through this is when you have a slow block, it's usually all right because you can sort of dig and cut in. But here, the issue that we're left with is we have the driveway coming up and we have the site sloping down. One of the issues with the back, the reason that we had to keep this front tree was because there is a tree protection zone around the tree. Now, we do go into that a little bit. Council knows about it, arborist knows about it, but it's not really intrusive. Now, what we couldn't do is we couldn't drop this slab height to marry up with the driveway, because if we dropped, and if we excavated out that 500 mil, we'd have sort of a retaining wall at the back and it would be intruding into the root zone of that really large tree. So we have to keep the slab up at that height, right? Imagine like a 300 slab on top of this. So you have to keep the slab there. The other issue too is that you could probably make out in the video, it slopes from the right hand side here over to the left. So not only are we sloping there, we're also sloping towards the front, which means we probably will have some sort of edge beam around here, around that sort of, on that other side. But that's the reason that we've then got this step down here for the garage, because the garage then has to meet up with the driveway. So you can obviously drive straight through from the driveway into your garage, to have it sort of step down like that. Otherwise, you know, we'd have this really uneven driveway trying to climb up to if it was up at this height. So that's why we've stepped it down. I don't think too much of an issue. You can see along the back boundary there as well, this the set out that the boys have used, the surveyors have used to get all the levels and get all the heights. But that's essentially what a cut and fill is, what it looks like, and why we do it. A little bit of a sloping block, but not too much of an issue for me. I think it's great because if the block slopes to the street, it generally means you have no sewer and no stormwater issues, because we can use that natural fall. It's when your block slopes away from the street, and then you've got to try to get stormwater up to the street. That's where you need to talk about easements and all that sort of stuff. It gets a bit complicated, but for me, another good reason of this site is because it sort of slopes down towards the front. So that's that there. That's the cut and fill, and I might call it quits because it is raining. So short and sharp one today. Site cut, latest update. Any questions, thoughts, queries, drop them in the comments. Do my best to help you guys out. If you're getting any sort of value from this series, would appreciate as well if you can hit subscribe, and maybe I'll feature a couple of the other sites that I'm working on and building and developing. But yeah, I just wanted to do this for myself and for people out there that always ask me a ton of questions about development. So that is the site cut. That's what it looks like. I'll pan around sort of site and give you guys a bit of a tour right now. But yeah, that's it. So this stump will also need to get removed. We'll need to do that before we probably do the slab and all that sort of stuff along the back here. And then this is obviously the tree and the area that I was talking about. So need to obviously be mindful of the tree and the root zone attached to that tree, and can't excavate too far down here. And then you can see the little tags that the surveyor leaves on site so the boys can get their numbers. So actually thinking about as well painting that fence, spewing, because it's like have a nice light grey fence, dark grey fence, maroon fence. I'm probably going to paint this entire fence all the way down to the front. And stepping down here, you can see as well a lot of the boys' marks, front of the dwelling here, that garage, and then yeah, moving towards the front of the site. We need to get rid of those piles for sure. What's also cool, and I'll let you guys in on a little one, is these are the screw piles. So that will be the next video, is the boys putting in screw piles out at site. So they'll do some sort of mark out and they'll do the screwing. But yeah, you can see surveyor's marks. They're the screw piles that go in to ensure the foundation. There you go, we've got the units on it too. But yeah, that's it. A couple more bits of waste, and the neighbour over the road, and the toilet is knocked over. So that's about it, to be honest. Not too much more to report, and yeah. All right, little birdie tells me, guys, that there should be some things for us to have a look at today. That is super exciting. It means we're this close to the slab. So this is pre-slab, pre-pour stage, forming everything up. But let's have a little look, shall we, and see if we've got what we needed to in there. It's all happening on site. The boys aren't messing about. I think one of the most crucial stages, especially in projects this size, is that slab pour stage. One of the reasons why I like doing these sorts of projects, and I've worked in the apartment space for years and years and years. Sometimes it can take you so long, like sometimes it can take close to a year or over a year just to get up to ground level because you're excavating, then you're doing a basement car park. So one of the attractions with Class 1A buildings is that we don't have to do any of that stuff, and we can pour the slab relatively quickly. And what's great about pouring the slab quickly is that the boys are pretty quick off the back of it. So the fact that we're already at this stage already, after it feels like a matter of weeks, is just a world of difference. I'm going to say that I'll never ever get into apartments. Who knows? You know, Grayer inspired, of course, but we'll see. We'll see if I ever venture down that path. But for me now, these kind of developments, it's so much quicker, in and out. We don't have to waste, a year in the ground and 2.5 years of construction. We'll be done this in probably 6 to 7 months, which is unbelievable speed. You put on a DA on top of that, that's maybe 4 months. You can get in and out of these projects in under 18 months, which is great. Whereas compared to a lot of those other projects that I'm used to, you're in a year in council, you're a year in the ground, and then you're 2.5, 3 years. Obviously, you make more money, but it's a lot more stress. Here, it's short, sharp, in, kill it, and then on to the next one. So we're going to walk up to the back slab. Obviously, you think about it. Builders are very smart and intelligent people. You wouldn't form up and pour the front one first. You obviously want to form up, pour the back one first, and then work to the front of the site. So concreters obviously doing that one is going to pour the front one first. Then when that's done, they'll form up, and they've already started this one. They'll form up and pour the front one first. So they'll pour the front one last, which is awesome. And it's coming together, guys. It's coming together. I'm super excited. Yeah. Alrighty, site update number, I'm not too sure. We're deep in December and I have some really good news. As you guys can see behind me, the boys are forming up. The boys have formed up this rear duplex slab. So we've got the formwork and the timber around the outside. We have our black matting that goes on the ground first, waffle pods over the top, and then all the sort of steel. Now, you're probably looking at this and thinking we have a little bit of a step down here compared to at the back. That's not an issue at all. The reason that we have this step down here, as I'm explaining, is the driveway. We've got to meet the level of the driveway and coming in when we're at where I'm standing at the moment for the cars to drive in. But we also need to maintain the level at the back there, at the rear of the tree. Unfortunately, we can't excavate down. That would mean we'd have a hell of a lot of retaining walls, but also it means we go into the structural root zone of that tree at the back. So we have to keep the slab up that height, but if we had the car at that height, then we'd have a 500mm thick slab for the driveway, so it wouldn't be very practical. I'm going to walk you guys through a couple of different elements on this slab for everyone out there that maybe hasn't seen one of these, or hasn't seen what it looks formed up before the pour. But let's crack into it, and we'll take you guys through. We've also got here, as you can probably see and pick up just in the corner, we've got a little step down there to get into that front door. So imagine that there's going to be, you walk out your front door, you've got 1 or 2 steps up into the front of the duplex, especially after we pour the driveway slab. Yeah, we've probably got 1 or 2 steps up there, and then we've got that slab running throughout there. So really, really cool, super excited, and I dare say, fingers crossed, we can get this slab poured by the end of the year, which was the goal and the what I gave the builder to do. From here as well, then it's all free and running. The reason why I had that sort of time pressure on Which goes, and as everyone knows, we have Christmas shutdown, and then everyone comes back either mid or late Jan, everyone goes on holiday. So if we couldn't get the slab down there, then you're sort of looking at like a month delay in the build because, you know, everyone's away. Whereas here, once we have these slabs done, you know, frames can start to get delivered, bricks can start to get delivered, everything else can start to get delivered, everyone on site and working, rather than needing this thing to be poured, because there's not much we can do here if we don't have the concrete pour done and underway. So super excited. As you can see, we have all the pipe work that's coming up through the formwork. That's all your waste. So you guys can probably see, and we'll walk you through. As you can see here, this is the front sitting room, which is going to be sort of your second living room. These pipes that are coming up through here is actually the ensuite. There will be a nice small, there'll be a hallway that goes through, and then on the other side of the hallway, we've got our main bathroom. One thing that I've thrown in next to the bathroom is the laundry that's there. Then in the bathroom, we have shower, bath, toilet, all those sorts of things. So expect one of those wastes for each of them. And then the ones all the way down the back that you probably see in the rear of the frame, that's going to be kitchen island, kitchen waste and those sorts of things. So apart from that, we have the bedroom stacked towards the outside. A really cool feature that I'm not going to reveal yet until we get on the inside and we start to get framed up. But apart from that, we've got our little step down here for the garages, and yeah, it's all happening. There'll be actually a really nice sort of district view once we get off here. And come with me, I'll show you the front of site too. So we have the waffle pod system, which anyone that's building construction would likely know about. Another thing I actually want to show you guys, we've got these plastic tripods, so they keep the spacing between each of the waffle pods. But another thing that I want to show you come through, you can probably, if you zoom in, you can see this metal thing here sticking out of the ground. Yeah. So that's what's called a screw pile. So they go in first, and literally, as the name suggests, screw piles just screwed straight into the ground. There's no concrete or anything around them, but that helps to stabilize the foundations. They're actually, and this would be a question for the concrete because I don't actually know, but we're forming up and pouring the rear duplex slab first. That's the plan, and then the plan is to then form up and pour this one. But as you can see here, and we'll walk around and give you a bit of a tour around this floor plate. Currently standing here in the garage. This step down here at the front will be the al fresco, and then this is our dining and living area. These wastes this is going to be for where our kitchen island benches are running, and then along the left-hand side, we've stacked our walk-in pantry. And our toilet, so all stacked in there, and a laundry as well, obviously for this front one. So all stacked in there. As you can see, screw piles in. The boys have come through. We've worked out all our wastes draining out to the street, which is really cool. Really exciting to see it come this far. And yeah, the Rio is all there set to run into this slab, I suppose, after the boys finish the back one. And that's about it. That's where we're at. I reckon they can probably form this up in a day or two. And yeah, stay tuned for next video. Looks like it's probably going to be the concrete pour. So I don't know what day this video is going to come out, or what video the concrete pour will be booked for, but I have a sneaking suspicion that's not too far off. So I think we'll get there before Chrissy, which is super exciting. And then to pour this one too is going to be it's going to be great. But that's what it looks like. That's your pre-pour slab formed up, ready to go. And we'll check back in after we've poured it. We'll have a bit of a slab celebration and go into the end of the year. Just stoked that we got it done. So any questions, thoughts, feelings, emotions in the comments. As you guys know, I've been pretty transparent on the channel, so let me know if you have any questions around this. But apart from that, I'll see you guys in the next vid.